Winter roads take a toll on your car. Salt, grime, and road sludge build up fast, leaving your vehicle looking like a disaster. But did you know that washing your car in these harsh conditions can actually damage your car if done the wrong way? Today we're tackling an ultra dirty winter car, showing you how to safely clean it without causing harm. I'm here with Ivan Acquire from DIY Detail. Together we'll walk you through the step-by-step process to safely wash your car during this winter.
So what do we have on the paint right here? Like, it's a mix of mud, sand maybe, salt.
Yeah. So
what else?
Depending on where you are in Quebec, they use different things on the roads. Where we are, it's considered a green area, so they don't use a lot of salt. They use beet juice and they use gravel.
Okay.
Here, we drove through Montreal to get here. In Montreal, they use salt, salt, and more salt. So we have salt or calcium. We have calcium chloride. We have some beet juice, and we have some gravel on here.
Yeah, and the dirt from the road, obviously.
Yeah.
We can see here it's really thick.
Yeah. It actually forms a crust on the car.
A lot of people are living in the Northeast and they're constantly asking us, how can they clean a car dirty like this? So I thought that's going to be a good idea for you guys. We have a really nice example here of a dirty car, and Ivan's going to show us his way to get it clean and not damage our paint, right?
Right.
Okay.
First things, a lot of people, if they have a pressure washer, they would immediately try to pressure wash this off. You don't want to do that. A pressure washer, what it's going to do is all this grit that's on here, it's actually going to drive it into the paint and along the paint before the water can get underneath it. With the rinseless wash, we're going to emulsify it. Now, I'm using a keg. You can use anything just as long as you're spraying it on. Dilution ratio, 256:1.
So get it wet first.
Yeah. And using a keg sprayer like this, I can actually target areas a little better.
It's already pushing the dirt away.
Yeah. So the cracks and crevices around the emblems, around the lights here.
So you can also do that outside if you choose the right day. If you have like a couple degrees above freezing temperature,
Yep.
you could do that outside, no problem.
Right. And if you don't have the capacity to do that, one thing you can do, go to the coin-op car wash, apply the rinseless wash as you're waiting in line. Go to the coin-op, rinse it off, use their soap, not their brush, use their soap, spray it on, rinse it off, spray on a bit of rinseless, and then drive away and come home and actually do the contact wash.
Yeah, because you're not gonna dry the car because it's not as clean as it can get.
No.
So I'm always worried about leaving like regular water, tap water on the paint. So that's why you recommend to add the rinseless afterwards.
Yeah, what the rinseless is going to do, if it dries on the surface, it's emulsified that water and made those minerals so they're not harmless, or so they're not harmful for the paint. Therefore, you're not going to have the issue with the water spotting that you would normally get.
Yeah, and then you got two options: either leave it like that if you don't have a garage at all.
Yep.
Or at home, you pull in the garage and you do your regular rinseless wash, I guess.
Yeah. So we're going to let this emulsify and break down the dirt and encapsulate the dirt. That's what rinseless wash does. So it's encapsulating the dirt, breaking it down into smaller and smaller particles, and it's Zwitter ionic, which is a German term that hasn't been translated into English or French for that matter. But Zwitter ionic means neither negative nor positive. So when we're kids playing with magnets, you try to put the two north poles together, you can never get them together.
Yeah.
That's what's happening here. Whether it's negative or positive, it's repelling it. So it's actually trying to lift the dirt off the surface with that little magnetic cushion.
Okay.
It's not going to be levitating this far off the paint, don't worry. But from there, once we let it dwell, we're just going to use a garden hose today.
Okay. And do we need a specific product for salt, or is the rinseless good against like grease and grime, or is this something else for the salt?
Not necessary. This is a surfactant-based rinseless. A polymer-based rinseless has a little more difficulty attacking anything that's greasy or grimy. Whereas the surfactant is going to break that grease down quite easily. So just like using a soap. the surfactants work in a similar way. Plus we have a few polymers in there for lubrication, but when we're done, it leaves absolutely nothing on the surface.
Okay.
Time to rinse it off.
Yeah. What setting do you prefer for that?
I put it on the straight setting, so we
Okay.
have a bit of pressure, but not too much.
Yeah, good.
And we're just trying to rinse the majority of it off. The contact, you still need a contact wash. So the contact wash is going to do the bulk of the work, but the rinseless wash has taken or emulsified this dirt. The rinsing is going to take 90% of it off, taking all the grit off. The contact wash is going to get rid of the salt.
Yes.
Yep.
So here you want to put your focus, your emphasis on the nooks and crannies.
Yep. I purposely left a spot undone. I'll just put this on a very low pressure setting. So very low pressure.
Yeah.
And the rinseless wash takes a lot of it off, but obviously the pressure does a bit of the work for you.
Yeah. So it didn't need much.
No.
So obviously a car dirty like this, you're gonna have to just add some more time and be more thorough.
Yep. But
But-
now we're ready for the contact wash.
Yeah, it looks pretty good already.
Yeah.
Even though it's wet, I can see the big difference.
Yes.
And if you look up close, seems like 90% of the dirt is gone.
Yeah, we don't have the grit on it anymore
Yeah.
that we had before,
Which
is
was wood scratch, right?
100%.
Okay.
As an extra precaution of safety, we're going to add a little more rinseless on the surface. I don't need to put as much on as I did the first time. I just want to get it on the surface. And this is going to protect the surface, add a bit of lubrication before we touch it with the sponge.
Yeah, you go about your rinse list like you usually do from now.
Yep. From here, it's like any other car wash. So we take our sponge. We don't want a dripping sponge like this. Squeeze it out so it's just on the verge of dripping.
Yeah.
Now when you have an extremely dirty vehicle like this, you want to take your sponge, flip it over, and just do a second pass. Because it's actually going to absorb the dirt off the surface into the sponge. You can see just how much dirt we picked up off the surface. Clean again.
It's gone, yeah.
Yep.
Super. It's not like a microfiber mitt that tends to grab to that and keep some of the grit maybe in the wash mitt.
Yeah.
Now it's been released and
Yeah, microfiber is designed to hold on to dirt. It's what it does, and it does it well. Meaning that if you're using microfiber, you're going to be taking that dirt and dragging it along the surface. Whereas this grabs the dirt and it goes actually into the pores of the sponge. That's why we don't want the sponge to be wet. If the sponge is too wet, it's not going to absorb the liquid, it's going to be pushing liquid out. We actually want this to absorb the liquid. And that's what it's done here.
okay.
Again, we just touch it to the surface.
It's amazing how it can pick it up and release it so easily.
Yeah, because now we flooded. So since we're flooding, it wants to release. When it's just barely damp like this, it wants to absorb.
So that's why you're saying to not get it too wet.
Right.
Like you've seen those beginner rinseless washes, guys?
Yeah.
They,
Yeah.
they,
So
they put it like soap, right?
if we do this, first of all, it's messy, but it's not absorbing. It's not absorbing the dirt into the sponge.
Yeah, there's nothing on it.
Yeah.
So you just kind of spread it on the paint, right?
You're right.
Okay.
We just want it damp like this, and then we can.
So for those non-believer out there, that's the way to go. We have the good demonstration here.
And you can see where I've washed, the water's gathering up. Where we haven't
Yeah.
washed, it's still sticking to the
It's like
surface.
sheeting, right?
Yeah,
Which means the paint is clean. Whoop. We picked up dry
Yep.
dirt
yeah.
on the side where it did
Yeah,
not
so
touch it.
this was on the bottom of the plastic, so I'm not worried about scratching it. Just wanted to show you. Actually, let's get a little more here.
So this area was not pretty to.
Yeah. So you can see just how much is on the sponge.
Yeah.
Just one little chunk in there. It was a little too big. But yeah, sponge comes out clean every time.
That's awesome.
And then we dry it. We're going to be ceramic coating this vehicle, so we're not going to be putting a drying aid on today. And with the rinseless, you don't need a drying aid.
So nowadays there's a lot of sponges on the market.
Yep.
And I've seen a bunch of. They seem somewhat different. Can you do? Are you gonna get the same result with other sponges?
Not every sponge.
Okay.
There are some sponges that the pore structure is too small or too closed, that it's not going to do the same job. A sponge that's too soft is actually more likely to scratch than one that has a bit of body like this, because to get any work out of it, you're having to put pressure. Pressure is not your friend, and you end up squeezing the sponge too much.
Yeah, it's too flimsy.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I noticed that with another brand of sponge.
yeah.
So now we're ready to dry. You were saying that since you're gonna ceramic coat this, you're not gonna use a drying aid.
I'm not going to use a drying aid. We're not ceramic coating it today, but nonetheless, we don't want to put anything on there. But with a rinseless is its own drying aid. Now you'll see how difficult the vehicle is to dry. That's because it's cold, and cold metal is always difficult to dry. If we were to use a drying aid, this is one case where you want to use a drying aid.
Okay. It would help to pull the water.
Yeah. The paint dries a little easier.
Are those new towels?
No, we've had those for a while.
Okay.
So they come in a 3-pack.
Get those small ones and the big ones.
Yeah, but you get 3 this size.
Okay.
They're actually some of my favorite towels because they're a lot easier to hold. Give it a try.
Twisted loops,
Yeah, twist loop.
which is proven, right? I love those twisted loops. And it doesn't drag on the floor.
No, exactly.
Yeah, go ahead.
Inspect as much as you like.
Yes, it is. There's no scratch.
Yeah.
We did not mess the paint by doing this.
No, it's no worse than it was before.
No.
It's a brand new car. Every brand new car can use a bit of help. This is no exception. There's no scratches on it, thankfully, but there are runs, there are little blemishes that come from the factory. That's normal, and that's why we have orange peel on cars. Orange peel is actually manufactured into the car. They can decide if a manufacturer wanted a 0 orange peel car, they can program their robots to spray that.
Like a really flat finish.
Yeah, this one's not too bad,
No.
but there's still orange peel there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
And like I said, you actually want orange peel on your car. It's a good thing to have.
And this one is metallic, which is also another thing that can help
Yeah.
with hiding stuff.
Yep.
It's a really nice red.
Yeah, this is actually a candy red.
Candy red.
So it's three stage. This is the type of red that if you polish it, this car will actually become pink.
So it's like there's a tint in the clear.
Yeah, the base color underneath it is sort of a pink gold. And then they put a red tinted clear over top.
Okay. So you were saying that if you polish this, you're gonna have some red on your pad.
You're gonna have red on your pad, and if you polish it too much, you're actually gonna have a sort of a pink gold spot.
Is that like a burn through?
No, it's just you've removed the thickness, some of the thickness of the tinted clear coat,
Okay.
and when you're removing that tinted clear coat, you see the color underneath it more.
So like the different red that's below.
Yeah.
Okay. So how do you gauge how far you can go? You don't know at all.
No, go the least amount possible. You want to polish to enhance. This is a vehicle that if you get a scratch on, you're not wet sanding and polishing the scratch away.
Okay, so you're saying you have to be more careful with those
Tinted clears. Yeah.
Okay. Why did you choose this color?
Have you seen our last 10 cars, Frank?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. What color were they?
Red.
Yeah.
Okay,
go,
so you're
go with the bus.
Okay, that's come probably from the brand scheme.
Yeah. Once we get a coating on this, it will be a lot easier to maintain. And coatings do not resist scratches. Don't worry. But it helps resist wash marring a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it's easier to clean, easier to maintain.
Yeah.
All right, so basically to recap our really dirty car, it's not very different from what we used to. You do a pre-treat with your rinseless wash.
Yep.
You rinse with a hose, garden hose or pressure washer.
Yep.
Then you go in your regular routine of rinseless washing, spray, and use the sponge and dry it afterwards. You can use a drying aid or not.
Yeah, it's just be logical. Would you take your soapy wash mitt to this surface? No. You don't take your rinseless sponge to the surface that you wouldn't take your soapy wash mitt to. Mm-hmm. So a pre-rinse is necessary. It's a rinse-less wash. It's not a rinseless wash.
And regardless, just pay attention to the nooks and crannies. If you have grit, obviously you have to take more time to clean a dirtier car than a cleaner car. So very good. Thank you, Ivan, for coming here.
Thank you, sir.
Enjoy your way of doing things as usual. Thank you, Sylvie. And with that being said, we'll see you in the next one. And don't forget to check this video right here.